Really appreciate you taking time out of your day, learning more about Wesleyan. Look forward to answering questions today, down the road, whenever it might be. My name is Noble Jones. I'm Associate Dean of Admission and Director of Enrollment Analytics at Wesleyan. Thrilled to partner with Service to School, completing our first year, and share information, make the introduction. First off, I want to encourage everybody to reach out to me, use me as counsel, as advice through this process to the extent that you wish, in supplementing the amazing team at STS and the ambassadors that you have access to. I hope that each person who might view this ends up at Wesleyan. I know that that's unlikely to be the case, but to the extent that I can help answer questions about the field of higher education, introduce you to different schools, and or the different ethos, to the extent that I'm familiar, I certainly welcome it. Wesleyan was founded in 1831. We're a liberal arts and sciences college. We're settled in Middletown, Connecticut, which you can see on the map is literally between Boston and New York, which gave rise to our name, the name of our town. We're settled right along the Connecticut River, and the most accessible way to get into Middletown, we do have Connecticut Rail and Amtrak, but if you're flying into the state, come into Hartford. We're about 25 minutes, half an hour south of the state capital and Bradley International Airport. See, we're a city of about 50,000 people. It is an urban New England city. We're not set in a typical liberal arts out in the middle of nowhere. We are in a very real place. Middletown was founded almost 200 years before Wesleyan, which was founded in 1831. So there's a very distinct identity to Middletown. We are not gated from Middletown. Rather, we are a part of the city life and the urban life. Students are regularly in Middletown, not just for dining, but for volunteer, for service, for community engagement, and for entertainment. And I've just included a really slick slide. I consider myself an outdoors person. The work often gets in the way. But if you do enjoy being outside, among different things, Connecticut is home to 110 state parks and 32 state forests. Absolutely fascinating to me. I had no idea until I moved to Connecticut 4 years ago, which I'm so grateful I've been able to do. Wesleyan students come from 50 different countries around the globe. And right now we're about 13% international population. So it's a really exciting place for you to be, for students that are considering for their work, furthering their military careers or leveraging their military experiences in the international space. It's a great place to call home. There are currently 80+ languages spoken on campus. And let me say, we teach regular instruction in 15 different world languages, including, among others, American Sign Language. Our faculty also offer a unique program called Less Commonly Taught Languages. So if you're interested in acquiring a language that we don't currently offer on campus, you can work with our faculty and they'll arrange language instruction for you. We're an undergraduate liberal arts college, as I mentioned, but we do have graduate programs here in 7 different STEM or STEAM fields that comprise about 200 graduate students. We are known for our open curriculum, and that is frequently what puts us on the radar of a number of students. There are no required classes that you'll have to take during your time here. And in fact, everybody on this webinar could be majors in the same different department, and we'd have very disparate pathways to our degrees. So there is flexibility. There is encouragement and hope that you'll take some general education classes or meet the general education requirements or expectations, I'm sorry, but they are not requirements. And generally that's over your time here, you'll take 3 classes from each of the 3 divisions of the university. However, it's up to you if you decide to pursue that, unless it's required by your major. A lot of flexibility in the curriculum with 1,000 different courses on offer each semester. You'll work closely with a team of advisors, which I'll get into a little bit later, to figure out your pathway. Ultimately, think about flexibility. You have until the end of your second year here, if you're starting as a first-year student, to declare your major. So the encouragement is to take courses of interest in specific areas, but really courses that just jump out to you. The exciting moments happen in our curriculum when new ideas occur to people, those interdisciplinary ideas. And I've heard that happen time and again in our community. As a result of this open curriculum, I should say, about 45% of students will double major. So there is flexibility there, and it's quite feasible. On our website, some places will say 45 majors, other places say 46 majors. It's because this summer, our faculty have approved the 46 major, and we're catching up to that. That newest major is called Codes. It's the College of Design and Engineering Studies. Really exciting for students considering pursuing engineering, either formally through the 3-2 engineering program that you see on the screen, or just in general. And that's a linked major. So you would actually by default declare 2 majors, one primary major, and the tertiary major would be the Codes major. So stay tuned, more to come on that, but really exciting development. The BA-MA program that we have listed there is a unique program to Wesleyan for students who finish their 4 years of undergraduate study in the STEAM areas, 7 different areas: mathematics, physics, neurobio, so on and so forth. You can apply for that 5th year master's, and that year is tuition free for you. And that's open just to Wesleyan students. So really important thing to think about. Leveraging perhaps some experiences some of you may have had in your service career is the Quantitative Analysis Center, an amazing campus resource that offers introduction to all 7 different coding language programs. But our expertise really runs across the 46 different majors. You might know us from our film studies major. Fantastic resource, one of the top 10 programs in the country on an annual basis. A word of caution: if you're interested in applying or starting as a transfer student, you can't pursue film, but if you intend to do all 4 years here, you can. Ultimately, you see the 8-to-1 student-faculty ratio. What I want you to think about here is the relationship with your faculty members as one of them being scholar teachers. They are experts in their field, they are doing research, but the fundamental expectation of them is to partner with you, the students, to advance your knowledge and our collective understanding. So they are here to support you at your various stages, and think of themselves as partners in inquiry, as you should. It is an active learning environment. We have 2 observatories on campus. You'll see the stat in the bottom right, with impressive funding coming in from the National Science Foundation. We leverage our location, our resources, and alumni and parent bases to provide internship opportunities around the world. You can study abroad as a military veteran student on our campus. I had lunch yesterday with a good friend and a rising senior that I believe Jim has had the chance to meet, who just spent the semester abroad in Colombia and just had fantastic opportunities. He spent substantial time off campus. So you can incorporate that into your degree and your academic trajectory here. All options are open to you because you are a full-fledged student at Wesleyan. That includes some areas such as our varsity sports teams and clubs. We have vets currently on the men's rowing team, which just finished 2nd nationally. Pretty exciting for us. We're a member of the NESCAC, which is the most competitive conference in NCAA Division III. But beyond sports, 250 different clubs, 30 clubs, choirs, orchestras, a cappella groups. You can get involved to your heart's content. Again, everything is available to you, and the encouragement is made for you to get involved to the extent that you do so desire it. And I just include this. This is some of our scenes from our popular activities on campus. On the right is the West African drum class performing. Lacrosse in 2018 won the men's national championship in D3 for the first time. And this is a student group that performs annually on a number of occasions. Beyond Wesleyan, I want to introduce you to the Gordon Career Center. An important note, wherever you end up, students, be known to your career center, respectively on that campus, early and often. If you begin here, you will be in the Gordon Career Center in your first week to begin polishing resumes, signing up for interview prep, thinking about pre-med or pre-health professions, meeting with pre-law advisors, whatever the case might be. But this gives you a sense of where our students end up post-Wesleyan. In class of 2021, we have the best data for. We do have 2022 available online, but as of course we're all aware, the impact of the pandemic has affected some data reporting and consistency, but generally this is pretty reliable. 22% of graduates in the class of 2021 ended up in financial services or consulting, 18% in tech, engineering, and sciences, so on and so forth there. The next slide, I warn you, is very text heavy, but it astounds me, and I violate some of my own rules of presentations, but I beg your forgiveness in advance because I think they're really impressive numbers. So when you think about the return on investment and the value of your education, if you're considering law school, take this into account. Wesleyan's acceptance rate for all graduates applying to law school in 2020, 2021 was 85.7%, when the national average was 68%. Over that same 5-year period, acceptance rates at U.S. law schools for seniors graduating from Wesleyan have ranged from 76% to 100%. In 3 of those years, we hit 100%. So really impressive. And below is a list of some names you're likely considering for undergraduate degrees, but are well-known law schools where our students tend to go on a regular basis. If you're considering medical school, there are terrific stats available online. Typically, the national average for admission rates to U.S. medical schools ranges from 41 to 46%. You'll see that our students have been admitted at rates of 51 to 77% during that time period. So just planting that little seed as you continue to do more research and think about how the Wesleyan degree and experience is received beyond Central Connecticut. I want to delve into some consideration and support we give to U.S. military veterans and acknowledge our proud partnership with Service to School. I'm also excited to share that we, this summer, hosted our first Warrior Scholar Project on the campus. I want to encourage you to continue to learn more about us in that venue. Let's get up front about costs. Aid packages for veteran students meet 100% of demonstrated financial need without loans, with a minimum expected contribution of $1,200 each year, not each semester, but each year. We are currently, the current expectation is that you will use GI Bill and other benefits towards your education at Wesleyan, but that discussion is continuing. So stay tuned on that front. We might have more news to advance there. The takeaway is that we're going to meet 100% of that need. And once you exhaust benefits, we will meet 100% of demonstrated financial need. So you can expect to pay a very nominal fee for tuition fees, room and board during your time here. On-campus housing is guaranteed if you desire it for individuals or for families. If you desire off-campus housing, we can make introductions via the Office of Residential Life to various local resources. Don't share this broadly because it's probably not popular with non-military veterans, but during your 4 years here, you'll have front-of-line class registration during your time at Wesleyan. Students tend to get the classes they want. There are some popular classes that might be challenging to get upon your first or second request. Should not be an issue for veterans interested in Wesleyan. And I just want to give a shout out to my amazing colleagues. We don't do this alone. I don't think anybody expects us to, but we really do have a dedicated support group in place via the Veterans Advisory Committee that quite frankly comprise some of the most visible and arguably most important members of our administration, including the vice presidents for student life, the VP for admission and financial aid, the class deans, members of the registrar's office, financial aid teams, and the faculty members who have been working in support as academic advisors to our veterans. We meet on a monthly basis to make certain that we are serving you and recognizing your service well. Students don't come to those meetings, but rather it's a way for us to connect and discuss emerging issues, if there might be, and how we might improve service to our military veterans on campus. I had mentioned earlier the veterans advisors. You are invited and encouraged to meet in a small advising cohort with the incoming members of your class who are military veterans. Once you declare your major, you can move beyond that person, so that person will, I promise, maintain an interest in your time during your career at Wesleyan. We offer a connection and introduction to the Middletown chapter of the Disabled American Veterans Group, if you so wish. I have her contact information right beside me and want to offer that up in advance and encourage your participation if need be. I serve at my pleasure and true honor as the current faculty advisor to the Wesleyan Student Veterans Organization. Encourage you to reach out if you just want to, before you even get to campus, or if you haven't met those folks. Online, we have links to these individuals, some of these individuals that have volunteered as points of contact before you apply, after you apply, as you're making your transition. But please feel free to seek them out on our website and ask for their guidance or their perspective. I'm excited to share that we expect to open our first Veterans Oasis Center in a permanent space next spring as a result of the advocacy of our student veterans. Really pleased for that. To the right, and if I can, put a save the date. This year, Veterans Weekend is November 11th. I believe Veterans Day is November 10th, but the picture to the right is our salute to service from 2 years ago. We honor our veterans at numerous times throughout the school year. One at a football game in the fall around Veterans Day, and then again in February at a men's basketball game. Applying to Wesleyan, we have 3 application options for military veterans. Look for this section on our website and you click on the veteran applicant link. That's the key. The 3 options, the Coalition app, the Common app, or my encouragement to use the Wesleyan application for admission for military veterans. It will be available August 1. It is up until May 1. So if you apply on August 1, that's of 2023, and you're offered admission, you would begin the following August of 2024. Once your application is complete, we promise and commit to you a 2-week turnaround so that you can begin making transition plans as soon as possible. This year, we are introducing a new binding early decision option. You arrive at a point in time and say, I know unequivocally this is where I want to be. You can check that box and we can route your application accordingly. There is no application fee for veterans. independent of which option you use. If you're not using our application, you can email me and I'll get you a fee waiver request for the other two. We are test optional for all students. If you haven't sat for a test in a long time, or if you have and you're not confident that your scores are representative of your experience, don't submit them. It's just fine. I do strongly encourage recommendations come from commanders, supervisors, management, both in military and civilian capacities, particularly when your most recent academic experience might be a few years removed. But ultimately, we're looking for their expertise to speak to your expertise and how you might benefit from your time here, your potential to contribute to our community, and how you're prepared for transition and success. So think carefully about those, but I've read some terrifically powerful recommendations from commanding officers and whatnot that have spoken to our students' preparation that might be on the traditional academic preparation. And sure enough, that translated really well to their performance in our classrooms and our lab rooms. Excited to introduce that there are campus visit grants for admitted applicants. This is just for veterans. So we'll be in touch if we're able to offer you admission and you want to come out and visit. We can provide a flight to Connecticut if need be, and a night's lodging at the Middletown Inn. And I'm excited to work with you on that front. In short, just please remember as you're working with your STS ambassador and you're completing these applications, everything counts. Care for family members, old and young, your involvement in the community, in your different affinity spaces, how you care for yourself, how you care for others, it all matters to us. And I just want you to put your best foot forward. Don't discredit any of your experiences in the service or beyond. That is really what I had to share. Excited to welcome any questions that might exist. Encourage you to reach out to me individually today, down the road, and thank you for your time. Jim, I'll kick it to you and see if there are any questions.
There's 3 questions in the chat, Noble.
Okay. Let me. Great. Are applicants required to declare a major when applying? No, you are not. We do not offer admission to specific departments or majors at Wesleyan. You have ample time to explore. Though that is a great question to ask of other schools when you're applying to them. So we might take it, we would acknowledge it, but we're not going to admit or provide an edge based upon your potential major of interest. There's both time to explore and time to change your mind too. Fun question here. We often hear veterans at West discuss how they are encouraged to move out of their comfort zone, both in and out of the classroom. Can you talk more about that? Putting yourself out there, joining different groups. A good friend of mine who is rising, I believe he's a rising senior now as well, has really found his community in the local fitness scene, the boxing club on campus, putting himself out there to be with students who are younger than him, but really lending his expertise. We have amazing standouts, of course, such as Desiree Edwards, who's who's currently the president of our Wesleyan Veterans Organization, who has been recognized as a Tillman Scholar. So it's pushing yourself to make connections. If you're local to Wesleyan and have access to Connecticut National Public Radio stations, you might hear the voice of Kate Perkins, who's one of our current students and a military veteran, who's gaining real world experience, pushing herself beyond campus to both gain experience, leverage her own profile, and prepare for a future in communications. In short, we encourage students to be brave enough, which is an interesting word, particularly working with military veterans, to push themselves to take classes that they might not otherwise, to ask questions by going to office hours of faculty members that they might never ask, to put themselves out of their comfort zone, to come to my office and just talk, share your experience so I know how we can, as a university, an organization, and the community, better serve future students. Think about studying abroad, thinking about adding a new language. That's really the spirit here. It's difficult to describe Wesleyan students, but that is that spirit of inquiry, that willingness to push themselves in new ways, to think of big ideas, hopefully to address some of the wrongs we see in our world, is the spirit of the day. This is not a this is not a competitive environment. I should have been explicit about that up front, but rather one of collaboration. And I think that collaboration, might push some students out of their comfort zone, but we learn well from one another, and we're working in teams. The other question at the moment: how does the 3-2 engineering program differ from the more traditional pathways to a graduate degree in engineering? Terrific question. We have standing arrangements with 3 different universities, Columbia, Dartmouth, and Caltech, to provide preparation for students that are interested in earning their engineering degrees. You will work closely with the 3-2 advisor, who is the current chair of the physics department. You'll craft your series of courses with those graduate programs in mind. So you'll take a series of classes here that are more prescribed. Based upon your performance here, we have an agreement, an arrangement that is not a guarantee, but is all but a guarantee that if you perform well and gain faculty support at Wesleyan, you apply to that second institution, and upon your completion, you'll receive 2 bachelor's degrees from both, a bachelor degree from both institutions. So yeah, I hope that helps. Again, please don't hesitate to be in touch. My contact information is online, both through the veteran applicants link at Wesleyan, but also underneath the Connect section of our website. Look forward to working with you. Be in touch, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.